So good morning everyone. So I'm Sir Elvin and today I will be teaching you our lesson in English which is modals. So tutukdoon ko po ni in Bicol but there will be a separate video na of course I'll be speaking English so that you'll understand the lesson more. Okay po? So every week I'm gonna be posting a video and I hope that you watch it. Okay, let's start. So modals. So yan ang lesson na ko niyan. So, pag nahihiling nindo niya, nasa isip nindo. Of course, bawal magkakan. Hindi man, bawal magsigarilyo. Sa mga lugar ay mga nakalagay at bawal nindo ang gibuhon. May kamong permiso na gibuhong mga alagay na bagay. How about this one? So, what is a modal palan? Modal verbs shows a certain mood they express necessity or possibility. A mode of verb. Diba? So, for example, ang verb baga si mga action word. Magdalagan. For example, kaya niya magdalagan. Same like that. Tingnan mo modify niya. Sabi niya kung kaya ba, kung pwede ba, or di pwede. Yan ang modal verb sa Bicol. See the difference. You pay him 20 pesos. Bayadan mo siyang 20 pesos. You must pay him 20 pesos. Kaipuhan mo siyang bayadan ning 20 pesos. See the difference? Si pagdagdag taning must, nag-iiba si meaning kang si verb. You pay him 20 pesos. Pay mo lang siya. May kang responsibilidad. But, you must pay him. May dagdag na emphasis or dagdag na meaning duman sa verb na tigamit, which is pay. Okay po? Now, how do we use modals? So, modal, plus base form. So, like po kita nag-add ing, like kita nag-add ng ed, like kita nag-add ng kung ano man. For example, basahan na niya ha. Can read. Ano yun ang modal? Ang modal dyan si can. Ang verb naman is read. Notice na may siyang ed, may siyang ing, and etc. Okay po. Must go, shall be, may come. Modal verbs are used in present and past forms. Could, read, would, dance. So, pwede siyang gamitin present, pwede man siyang gamitin past form. Pero bakong future. Okay po. Okay, so ini po ang mga examples na dapat din nung gamiton pag naggamit ka ng modals. Can eating, tano siya sala. Kasi may ing. Next. Will sang. Tano siya sala. Past tense, dapat will sing. Don't use past tense. Could is drinking. May is tapos may ing pa. So, don't use is after na modal tapos may ing pa. Could is drinking. May will love. So, don't use future tense. So, yan po ang mga dapat lang gamitin na verb na gibuon sa verb pag nagagamit kita ang modals. Okay po? So, diretso na kita sa asking permission. Di ba, may mga bagay pag before tagibuon ng bagay na ask ng permission. For example, during face-to-face, before ka maghali sa kaso mo nang ginigibot syempre napaaram kita na po sa teacher ta. So, these are the model of permission. We have can, could, and may. I'll explain it to you. Iniwan ng form. Can, could, plus may, plus subject, plus the verb. Yan ang ginagamit ang form pag nag-aaral kitang permission. For example, may, yan si modal. I, subject ika. Go to the restroom, si gigibuhon mo. Or for example, can I have some snacks? Or for example, can my son borrow your pen? O di ba po? Si modal, si subject, si pinagulayan, saka si verb, si action. Let's look at this example. May, the modal, I, the subject, and go is the verb. So, arog po kayan pag nag-ask kitang permission. So, for example, you're going abroad and you're asking whether you wanna ask if yung gusto mong malaman yung direction. May I ask where the restroom is? So, ganyan po. Ganyan pag nag-ask ka ng permission. Sunod, informal request. So, ginagamit ang can pag informal. Anong sinabi tang informal? Usually, friends ta, or relatives ta, na close ta, yun ginagamit ta. For example, we often use the modal verb can to ask permission or to make requests. Example, can I have some cookies? Yes, you can. Can I borrow your pen? Please. Sure. Can I use your bathroom? Of course. So, can is the least formal. So, siya siya kung pinaka-formal. We use it for asking friend or someone. We know for something informal situation. If we are asking someone we don't know for something which is small or important. For example, di man gayo ka-importante yan si bagay, tapos bistalo taman to, we use can. Okay po? For example, you're asking your friend na magdarang McDo. Can I have some fries? Oh, sure. You may have some. Okay po. Yan na ginagamit ang can. Next, we have could. So, ang could is a little bit more polite. So, ginagamit na syempre sa pag nakakatanda to elderlies. Could is a little more polite than can. So, we use it in formal situation. Mga formal situations, sa classroom, sa meetings, so yan, like talking to your boss or a stranger to ask for something more important. For example, excuse me, could I sit here, please? I'm sorry, but you can't. This seat is taken. So, nag-ask kang permission kung pili ka magtoko dyan. Could I have your attention, sir? So, stranger, di mo siya bistado, formal situation. Could you tell me the way to go to the town center, please? Of course, it's straight ahead. So, yan lang ang ginagamit na pag formal. Next is may. Ang may si pinaka-polite naman. And usually, di naman ginagamit na as often. Sa pinaka-polite na. May is similar to could but even more polite. And also, old-fashioned na siya. So, medyo, dahil guys siya nasabi, old-fashioned siya. It is not used as often. For example, may I make an appointment for Tuesday? Yes, you may. May I begin? Of course. May I have a glass of water? Sure, here you are. Diba? So, ginagamit siya sa mga very formal ng situation. So, yan po. Okay? Tandaan na. Can, the least polite. Can, the least polite. Could, more polite. And the may is the most polite. Okay po. Note, like in the example sa above, we can give someone permission with the words can, may, or we can say yes, of course, or sure. So, pag nagtawag ka, sure, you can, you may, you could, okay, of course. So, yan. For example, may I borrow a pen? Pen? Of course. Or you can say sure, or you say may. So, yan ang mga sinasabi ito. Pag, for example, nag-ask sa tong stranger na kung pwedeng, sabihin, pwedeng hapoton kung saan nga ang sentro ng Pamplona. Sure, it's right ahead. Diba? Yun ang ginagamit. Okay po. Giving permission. So, yun naman, ginagamit pag nagtatao kitang permission. So, tinagtutugot kita na sa anong bagay, gibuhon. We can use modal verbs can and may but not could to give permission or to say that someone has permission. The difference between them is that the same as in the previous example. May is more formal, polite way of saying that, while can is used in informal situations. Or the typo. For example, you can come with us. So, subject, ano napansin nyo? Subject yung una. Okay, tanggalin natin mukha ko. Okay, so, subject, modal, tapos verb. You can come with us. Students can sit anywhere. You may go home now. Students may travel free. So, pansin nyo, nasa una na yung subject. For example, Ryan can come with us. Ryan may go with us. Diba po? So, tandaan po yan na, pag nag-give permission, subject, modal, then verb. Pag nag-ask ka, modal, subject, and verb. So, nag-switch places si modal sa kasi verb. Okay. Next. Okay, next. So, giving permission. To give permission, we can say something like, yes, you can. Yes, of course. Yes, no problem. Yes, you may is very formal and not often used. It's not used very often. So, ang yes, you may, din gaya na siya ginagamit na malay. Not giving permission. So, if you're willing to give permission, of course, you also are willing not to give permission. Di man gabos na bagay, pero may kang maayo. To refuse permission, response, no, sorry, you can't. I'm afraid not. Again, using may not is very formal and a little old-fashioned. So, no, you may not is quite unusual. So, no, you may not is, yun, din gaya siya ginagamit kasi luma na nga siya. So, you can say, no, I'm sorry, I'm afraid not, and etc. For example, you have here, may I borrow your phone? Yes, no problem. May I borrow, so nagtugot, it gives permission. May I borrow your phone? No, sorry, you can't. So, the person didn't give any permission. Okay po. Firm obligation. Firm obligation or necessity or recommended or moral obligation. Pag sinabi tang obligation, kaipuhan mo. Ini man, recommended mo, sasuggest mo lang, tapos obligasyon niya morally. Like, moral, kung dapat, ito ang tamang gibuhon. Okay po? Sa sitwasyon na to. Firm obligation, those permanent express obligation necessity is must and have to is used. So, must at have to ang ginagamit ng modals. For example, you must see a doctor once. So, yan ang firm obligation. You must see a doctor at once. I have to be at school tomorrow at 8 a.m. I have an exam. I've got to be at school tomorrow at... So, yan. So, mga examples na I will not read. You can just read. Yan mga mga ano yan? Sindang, firm obligation or necessity. Kaipuhan mo sindang gibuhon talaga. For example, paano pag mo na yung... Pag di mo naginaw ning at school at 8 a.m., ano mangyari? Of course, you will have missed a lot of items in the exam. You may have not enough time para mag-answer, di ba? So, I had to break the window. I lost my key. So, necessity siya. Kaipuhan na kaipuhan mong gibuhon. The manager isn't here. He's had to go to Paris on an urgent business. She's having to move because she can't stand the noise. So, yan. So, mga necessity. Okay po. You can just read the examples. Recommended or moral obligation. So, recommend. For example, sa friend ta na, for example, you should, dapat sabihan mo siya na nawara mo or naraot mo si cellphone niya kasi ito ang tamang dapat gibuhon. So, yan ang moral obligation and recommended. Should and ought to. Okay. Let me next. Okay. So, example, you should stop smoking. Nag-recommend na ako na mag-stop na ako mag-smoking. Kasi why? It's destroying your liver. So, nag-recommend ka sa friend mo na magpundo ng sigarilyo. You ought to stop smoking. For example, that's awful. You ain't have to done that. For example, the pullover's got hole in it. I should get a new one. So, nag-recommend siya sa diri niya na magbaka ng bago. If you wanted to succeed, you should have worked harder at school. So, yeah, nag-recommend siya, nagibuo niyan. Ay po. Express prohibition. So, if you're expressing naman ng ikutugot ka, so prohibit naman, tigbabawalan mo. So, can't is just something against the rules. Something against the rule. Mustn't, for example, you can't smoke inside the school. So, may rules na nagsasabi na bawal ka nga mag-smoke sa school. Ang mustn't naman, usually, comes from the seeker. For example, sinasabi ko as your teacher, I told you that you mustn't copy one another's work. So, bawal kayong magayahan. Galing yan sa akin. Okay, mustn't is usually used when obligation comes from the person who is speaking. Di ba po? For example, yung nanay nyo, sinabihan kayong bawal kayong umuwi ng gabi. Di ba po? So, wala naman talagang rules sa batas na nagsabi na bawal kayong umuwi ng gabi. But yung nanay nyo nagsabi, batas yun, galing sa kanya. Okay, for example, can and must, for example, are used to show something is prohibited. Can't and mustn't. For example, you can't go into the restaurant without a tie. You can't drive in this country unless you are over 18. So, against the rules yan. So, may sa rules. Ang must naman, you mustn't use your phone in class. Can't usually gives the idea of something against the rules. Mustn't usually against the speaker who is setting the rules. Ina sinabi ko pa sa bago. Na pag can't against the rules, mustn't against doon sa damdamin nung nagsabi. Or against sa rules na nagsabi. For example, we have here, it's prohibited to. Parking is strictly prohibited between gates. Students are allowed to. So, another way of saying prohibition. It is prohibited to. You aren't allowed to. You aren't permitted to. It is forbidden to. Can't and you must. For example, it is forbidden to walk on grass. You aren't permitted to. Smoking isn't permitted in hospital. Okay po. Sa mga bago, pinay mga phrases na pinindong gamiton. For example, you're in a relationship na, for example. Sabihan mo or someone is in a relationship na. For example, sabihan niya na, bawal siya mag-chat sa ibang babae. You mustn't talk to other girls. Kaya galing yung rule sa kanya. But can't is usually used pag for example, sa batas. You can't drive without your driver's license. So, yan po. Ganyan po siya. Okay, so, if you have any questions, you can always message me on my messenger. Thank you for listening. Bye. See you next week.